Now that we're all jumping a little bit, good morning. And welcome everyone to our multi-platform service for the Unitarian Church of Staten Island. We have a special flower ceremony service for today. We are so grateful to have you join us. For all those joining us in person, it's wonderful to have you with us. Please be sure to wear a mask throughout the service and to maintain social distancing. During the service, as long as you're wearing a mask, please sing along to the hymns in the service and read along to responsive readings. Those in person are invited to join us outside the church garden for in-person hospitality. I think that won't happen today. After the service, please follow directions for where and how to get food. For those joining us online, we send special greetings to you. We hope you take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat box this morning. After service, you are invited to a virtual coffee hour. Let us prepare for service.
Hello. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome. Welcome from the comfort of your homes. Welcome from wherever you come from however you are feeling. Welcome into this space, this multi-platform physical and virtual space that we gather together. I hope you find a way to get comfortable in your own body, to rest and relax and enter into this time of community and connection. I am the Reverend Emily D. Tarbert, speaking live here from the corner of Fillmore and Clinton Avenue, and grateful to be with all of you this morning. I want to open our service with words from Thomas Rhodes in this opening called "All of Us Are Beautiful." We come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches. Some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward. Some of us spread ourselves out wide. Some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in bud. Some of us stretch toward the sun. Some of us feel like weeds sometimes. Some of us carry seeds sometimes. Some of us are prickly sometimes. Some of us smell. And all of us are beautiful. What a bouquet of people we are.
We light the chalice candle. You repeat after me. We light this chalice in search for truth.
In the spirit of love, unite in worship and fellowship.
As an extension of our chalice, I will take a moment of silence to light these candles for some of the names who have recently been affected by police brutality. Do not cover all the names of those affected. Light a candle for the life of Jonathan Price. Light for the life of Omari Clyde. The life of Darnisha Harris. May these lights be a symbol of our commitment to continue the work of racial justice and to proclaim the Black Lives Matter.
Come, let us rise in body and in spirit and sing with us hymn 346 found in your gray hymnal. Come sing a song with me. For those virtually, we invite you to sing on mute. The lyrics will be posted in the chat.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Now is a time in our service for joys and sorrows. If you're visiting us for the first time, this is time you can introduce yourself. For those who are gathering in person, we invite you to raise your hand and then stand where you are seated and speak aloud your joy or sorrow. The Reverend will give you the microphone to speak into. We invite you to share what is in your heart. For those who are joining us online, we invite you to raise your hand, and when Mike directs you to come off mute and share with us, we invite you to share what is in your heart. You'll be speaking from the computer microphone.
Yes, so for those virtually, I'm going to go ahead and highlight you, and I'll ask you to come off mute and just share what's on your heart when it's time. But for now, I'd like to invite those in person. Please raise your hand if you'd like to share a joy or sorrow or introduce yourselves today. Hey, Ruth.
Hi, everybody. It's Ruth. So I will be flying to New Mexico early this week to see my family, and most notably my grandson, Will, who you know has been very ill and seems to be coming along much better. He's on the right meds, so we're very happy about that. And I'm very, very sorry that I have to miss the rededication of the Black Lives Matter banner. But unfortunately, I booked this flight in March. So no, no changing at the last minute. Sorry about that. But I know you'll all carry on and it will be wonderful. And once again, a joy to have that wonderful banner that we installed. So I don't even remember when, but there we go. Okay. So
I believe it was installed, please, I know there are people here that correct me if I'm wrong, 2015 under the, of course, leadership of the board, as well as Reverend Daryl Berger. And what a wonderful gift to have entered my ministry with you all, having had that sign and that dedication in this community already. You'll be there in spirit, Ruth. Anyone else who'd like to share? Mike, yes.
I have a joy to share in that last night, Maureen and I went to LaGuardia Airport to pick up our son, and he's visiting for about 6 weeks. He hasn't been here in about 3 years. And thank goodness for Zoom, because otherwise we wouldn't have seen him for 3 full years. So we're very happy that he's here.
I'm so grateful that you get to reconnect. What a joy. Any other joys or sorrows today? Whatever's on your heart. Yes, Randy.
I'm Randy, and my Aunt Helen, who's going to be 103 in December, had a minor fall a few weeks ago, and she was in the hospital for a bit, but she's back home in her assisted living place, and she called yesterday, and she was out by the pool feeling much better.
I'm grateful that she's feeling better, and healing wishes to your aunt. Right, Aunt? Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Janet.
Hi, I'm Janet Mahoney. My mother-in-law is in rehab. She fell, she hurt herself. She's 94 years old, but she's doing very well. So I'm happy about that. And I'd also like to say that I attended my first board of trustees meeting the other night. It was overwhelming, but it was interesting. And I got a little lost along the way, but I think eventually I'll get the hang of it. And I think we're going to do some good things in this church in the future. And unfortunately, we have to find a new minister because we're losing our wonderful Emily, but that's life, and she's going on to bigger and better things. So I wish her luck in her endeavors in the future, and I hope I'll be an asset to the board.
Janet, you're already an asset to the board, and we're grateful for you to be along with us. And my heart is with this community in the transition. It was a hard decision to make, and especially because this is such a blessing, this place. So know that my heart is with you, and I wish you all the best for the bright future ahead for this place. Indeed. I see your flowers. If you'd like, Marilyn, I'm going to invite you to go to the front where you see the other flowers and go ahead and place them there. Yes, there is. Let's move one of these empty vases. Yes, let's move the vases. Don't be sorry. I'm glad you brought some flowers for this moment. Do we think we have enough? That's a good question. Just be careful. Thank you. Thank you for the gift of these flowers. Any other joys and sorrows here with us today? Mike, I want to invite those who are on the computer to see if you want to unmute. Anyone want to unmute? Sorry, I do see one right here. Don't be sorry. Thank you so much.
I wanted to introduce myself, and I believe you said this was the time to do so. My name is Rose, and I'm happy to be here. I'm both the resident, mostly here. I'm native Staten Islander, here for many years. I had all my professional life here in education. And so now, though, I also frequent for months and so on, whenever I feel like it, because I can go to Florida and have a residence there. So I came upon the Unitarian Church there, and I had not been part of the Unitarian Universalists here on Staten Island. So I'm here today to say hello and to check things out here on Staten Island. I hope to continue. The only concern is I live all the way out in the South Shore. It's very far. It's a far drive, but you know, today was not a good day to drive anyway. That's besides the point. I hope to join in person, but there's always Zoom. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Welcome, Rose. You're not the only person from the South Shore who comes up here and makes the trek, which is why we have many people joining on Zoom. You're always welcome there. And it's a wonderful pleasure to have you join us today. Christine, I see you.
Hi, Christine Johnson. So I have joined us. Hello, Rose. I've known Rose over the years in our shared capacities as working people. Yes, I see you too, Rose. So welcome from South Shore, from whatever shore. Welcome. A sorrow that I have for today is many of us know Larry Marshall, spouse of Janine Otis. Larry has sung at this church over the years, and everybody's enjoyed Larry's work on Broadway, Larry's work locally, and certainly Janine's work. Larry is recuperating at home, but I learned that he was struck by a truck in, I want to say Nashville. He was on tour with Waitress. And a mutual friend told me yesterday, and I emailed with Janine last night, and she said, yes, indeed, he is recuperating. I don't have any of the other details, but I understand it was a very serious, his person was struck. He wasn't in a car. His person was struck by a truck. So I know we're going to, send good wishes to Larry and also to Janine as Larry is recuperating.
Thank you for sharing that, Christine. Our hearts are with Larry and with Jean. I also want to just mention to those online and in person about Harry Hicks, who continues to be in, I believe, a rehabilitation place, Staten Island Care Center. Thank you for those who are correcting me on the spot. I don't have it with me now, but I know that he appreciates phone calls and visits and that he is slowly but surely recuperating, and we wish him healing thoughts. Continue to think of healing for other members of our congregation who could use some support and care. Is there anyone that I am forgetting to mention at the moment who could use some special thoughts? Looking to our members to ask. Harry does enjoy getting cards, so send cards if you can. Thank you. I want to invite those online. If you're there and want to unmute, please go ahead and do so. If not, let us enter into a time of meditation and reflection this morning. O Spirit of life and love, we are grateful to once again come together to share those things on our heart, to journey with each other through life's joys and sorrows. We celebrate with each other many accomplishments or just moments of blessing and grace, like reconnecting with family, celebrating birthdays of friends, reuniting with acquaintances in service, visiting each other. We celebrate with gratitude that today is Father's Day and celebrate those parents with us and the blessings they give to children. We also hold in our hearts today the sorrows that are with us. Those who are sick and in need of healing, those who are on continued journeys of health and recovery. We also think of the weary realities of our world, such as the many, many shootings that have happened this month, which are hard to put words to, such as the continuing amount of laws against LGBTQ plus peoples, and other things that are under duress, such as pro-choice, racial justice. It can be a weary world to live in, which is why we join together and share our sorrows with each other. Let us take a moment of silence to reflect on those sorrows and joys that continue to resonate in our hearts. For all that lies within our hearts and all that we carry with us, may we always remember we are not alone. May it be so, and amen.
Our reading this morning is from the introduction of To Bless the Space Between Us, a book of blessings by Father John O'Donohue. There is a quiet light that shines in every heart. It draws no attention to itself, though it is always secretly there. It is what illuminates our minds to see beauty, our desire to seek possibility, and our hearts to love life. Without this subtle quickening, our days would be empty and wearisome, and no horizon would ever awaken our longing. Our passion for life is quietly sustained from somewhere in us that is wedded to the energy and excitement of life. This shy inner light is what enables us to recognize and receive our very presence here as blessing. We enter the world as strangers who all at once become heirs to a harvest of memory, spirit, and dream that has long preceded us and will now unfold, nourish, and sustain us. The gift of the world is our blessing. It would be infinitely lonely to live in a world without blessing. The word blessing evokes a sense of warmth and protection. It suggests that no life is alone or unreachable. Each life is clothed in raiment of spirit that secretly links it to everything else. Though suffering and chaos befall us, they can never quench the inner light of providence. In the parched deserts of post-modernity, a blessing can be like the discovery of a fresh well. It would be lovely if we could rediscover our power to bless one another. I believe each of us can bless. When a blessing is invoked, it changes the atmosphere. Some of the plenitude flows into our hearts from the invisible neighborhood of loving kindness. In the light and reverence of blessing, a person or situation becomes illuminated in a completely new way. In a dead wall, a new window opens. In dense darkness, a path starts to glimmer, and into a broken heart, healing falls like a morning dew. It is ironic that so often we continue to live like paupers, though our inheritance of spirit is so vast. The quiet eternal that dwells in our souls is silent and subtle. In the activity of blessing, it emerges to embrace and nurture us. Let us begin to learn how to bless one another. Whenever you give a blessing returns to unfold you.
Whenever you give a blessing returns to unfold you. Through the years here, those who have heard me preach before may have noticed a trend in some of my sermons. I like to reclaim and redefine traditional religious language. I do this for multiple reasons. One is the third principle of acceptance of spiritual and promotion of spiritual growth. I believe in the ability and freedom for every person to decide what language of spirituality and religion actually empowers you or disempowers you. It is a uniquely personal choice and one that should be made by every person. But I also like to do this because I believe that our American culture should not leave all religious definitions to the most conservative, loudest political voices in the world. To reclaim and redefine religious language, all language, in fact, is a revolution. That, and also, I'm sure by now you're tired of me talking about blessing. I think I've done it once a year since I started. And I know for many people, just like the words church or worship, blessing can be a reminder of dogma or religiosity of other faith traditions. It can feel like an overly powerful or religious word. There have been religious systems invested in delegating and naming who has the proper authority to give blessing and what is worthy of being blessed. But Unitarian Universalists, we know better. To bless is an action for everyone. It's a human action. It's something that each of us can do at any time, at any moment, in any myriad of different ways. To bless does not rely on a particular belief system. It does not rely on a creed. And here I'm going to try my own personal definition of blessing. You can define it how you decide. But in my own attempt to define blessing, I believe that to bless is a human action of calling something holy, of calling it meaningful, and therefore making a statement, an action, or a prayer that honors the gratitude and the worth of the thing or the people you are blessing and names your relationship to them. It's more than just a prayer. The intention of a blessing is like a hopeful promise. It's an action, kind of like, to a more dramatic sense, how a marriage is a blessing. It's a promise. You make vows. You don't know if you're going to live into those vows. You don't know what might happen, but you make the vows anyway. To a much lesser extent, blessing things is like making those statements of wishes that follow in actions. They're hopes for something. And it's naming a relationship you have with it. So I'll go ahead and make a blessing on the spot. I'm going to go invite you to tell me what you'd like me to bless. Want me to bless the earth, the sky, the church, the building, the flowers? Go ahead. Name something.
Church.
The church. All right.
The human voice.
The human voice. All right. I'm going to bless both those things. 1 second. Making it up on the spot. May this church continue to stand strong on its foundations. As it was built with love, so may we continue to build and envision the future with the love of our actions and carry in the spirit of this beacon of liberal religious tradition. May it be so. For the human voice. Yes. I have to think about this one. May each and every person, drawn from their inherent worth and dignity, empower themselves to make their voice known, understanding that the human voice is a unique vessel, a powerful vessel, to change and transform the world. May we care for the ways and the words we speak. May we sing out with joy. And may we always remember we have the power to speak our voice. May it be so. I didn't have to do that. You could have. You could have named a number of wishes or relationships that you may have with the human voice, with this church, with this building. Because it's not something that's unique to me. It's something we all can do. And the words that I say, it's a little bit more of a formal blessing. It's the may, right? It's kind of the religious prayer sandwich, but blessing doesn't have to use those words. It doesn't have to even look like words at all. Even Father John O'Donohue, in his book of blessings that we're reading from, in a later chapter, asked himself, does blessing look like kindness? And I think he's onto something here. Blessing isn't so much the words we necessarily speak, though it can be. It's how we act with each other. It is part of our active choices with the world and with each other. It is how we go about our days and how we live with the things and the people we love, or even those we don't always love. To bless doesn't have to be this grand moment. It can be as silent as a breath in or a smile being offered. It can be as simple as a thank you. All of those name something as meaningful, name a relationship, and name something with intention. Those are signs of blessings. So how does any of this relate to the flower ceremony, formerly known as, or also known as flower communion? Well, for the founder of the flower communion, for those who don't know the history, Reverend Norbert Čapek was a Unitarian minister in Czechoslovakia who founded the Unitarian Church in Prague. He had founded this congregation in the 1930s and realized that there was all types of people of all different kinds of backgrounds and religious beliefs that came together. Those who were Jewish, those who were humanist, those who were Christian. And he wanted to create a ritual, something that could be shared with the community, but not something that belonged to one specific faith tradition, unlike bread and wine communion or unlike other practices from other faith traditions. He wanted a ritual that's specifically named to the heart of the community he was serving, of this wealth of diversity, of thought, of people, of relationship. And so he turned to the beauty of his countryside and his congregation and created this flower communion ritual that we continue to share with each other. I find these symbols powerful, especially as I think of the history that would later happen to him. Being an outspoken minister in Prague, Reverend Norbert Čapek was arrested by Gestapo for speaking out, and eventually he was killed. Because something maybe even as simple as flowers gathering together, embracing diversity, can be a powerful weapon, a powerful message against authoritarianism, fascism, and conformity. In the original prayer that he said over flowers, he says, "May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world." End quote. The diversity of each other's talents, great and small, together are needed. It showcases our Unitarian Universalist tradition of bringing people together across beliefs, across identities and ethnicities, making a beautiful bouquet of community. Each flower that has been brought today is a symbol of you. And for those who may be visiting us for a first time, offer this as a symbol of a thing that you can receive. If you're not willing to give of yourself yet, understand that the beauty is here for you to take, just like what happens in community when visitors first come to join us. Together, it is the members of this community that make up the beauty of this bouquet. And you bless each other in that action by the ways you show up, by the ways you participate. You've blessed this space. This church would really not be a church. It would be empty if you weren't here, if we weren't creating this worship together. You are the ones who fill this building with rich music, with the human voice, with beauty, with flowers, with smiles, with heart. I find it vital that we hold on to the symbol of this bouquet, not only because of what it can stand for in the midst of our culture that continues to harp on the individual and not recognize the necessary need for community. But I also think it's important for this community in this time of transition. Remember, it's no minister, it's no individual lay leader, it's no staff person that makes the church what it is, that makes the community what it is. You are the congregation. You are the community. You fill the space. Your presence alone is a blessing to us because of the ways you give from your spirit, because of the ways you show up for each other. And the ways you participate in community is what creates the bounty of the harvest we share. It creates music that helps with hospitality, that offers each other blessing. What a gift your presence is. And what a gift it is to share in this kind of co-creating beautiful space together, working towards a future filled with hope by the presence we bless each other with. I hope that you share as you give of yourself, whether that's in voting or in pledging or in committee work or in justice work or just by being here, you give. But I hope you receive too. You receive the beautiful music our choir sings. You receive the beauty of flowers like this, of songs in your heart, of the efforts of justice and the things that we stand for. Just as you bless this space, may you be given the blessing of this beacon of liberal religion here on Staten Island. I know that I have felt so honored and grateful to have been lucky enough to have been blessed by this community, to see and witness the beauty of all this place accomplishes. And I hope that you have enjoyed whatever I've been able to give in my short time. But most importantly, I hope you remember that this place is such a special place, filled with blessing because of the people in it, because of the ways you gather together. I know that I am so grateful for this blessing. So, without further ado, I'm going to invite us into our flower ceremony. And this is going to look a little different than what might be in your order of service. I'm going to invite us to come up, for those who are in person, to come up and grab a flower. For those online, just take in the beauty, think about this, understand that you are a blessing being offered by the presence that you're giving us online. For those in person, please come up and grab a flower carefully. There's wires and steps, and just be careful. But while we gather that together, I'm going to invite us to sing number 402, From You I Receive, to You I Give. It is not in the order of service, and I apologize for that. But please sing in the gray hymnal, number 402, From You I Receive, to You I Give. It is 2 lines. Even if you don't have the hymnal with you, I invite you to sing it along with us. And please come take a flower.
From you I receive, to you from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and in this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
I invite us now, if you have your order of service, or an order of service, and for those online, please read the chat. There is a flower community response. We're going to slowly say this together. These are words from the original prayer by Reverend Norbert Chapek. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world. It is all of our efforts together that make this community strong. Each of us blesses the space we share. May it be so. Amen.
Now is the time in our order of service where we are taking an offering. We know it is the gifts of all of us that help support our ability to thrive and gather. For those in person, we invite you to drop your offering into the basket on the left of the stage as you exit into the parish hall after service. For those online, links and instructions will be posted in the chat. You can mail us a check or donate to our PayPal giving page. Please give as generously as you can. Our offering will now be gratefully received.
And now invite us to stand, for those who are here to rise in body or spirit, or for those in line to sing along while muted. Our closing hymn, 318, We Would Be One. It's in your gray hymnal.
Join in singing our hymn of love, to pledge ourselves anew to let our cause of greater understanding of who we we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other, to show to all our new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow, a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
We now extinguish the chalice. I invite you to join me in extinguishing the chalice. Please repeat after me if you know the words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. For these we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
It is everyone's efforts together that make this community strong. Each of you bless this space that we share. May you continue to gather together, blessing this community for generations upon generations to come. May it be so. Amen.